All right, we are back with another weekly analysis. This one's a bit more special because we are about to get a new 6-month candle opening in the next 1 day and 17 hours. So the next 2 days, on Wednesday, at least my time zone, we'll be getting a new 6 months. So here I am on the 6-month time frame, quite significant, and I will be starting the analysis on the dollar index as usual. That's always a good place to start. So let's see what we got. So this is the candle we currently have on the current 6 month. And it should close relatively something like this, unless something crazy happens, but it's good not to assume. So let's see what we have on the 6 month. So basically, it's cool. We had a whole 6-month gap in here, as you can see. This nice reclaim order block, really good for getting a bounce on price. But more significantly, we had some action on the yearly time frame, which is the 12-month chart. As you can see, we came into a 12-month gap over here, premium gap, and we retrace into a discount gap. From there, kind of chopped around a bit, and we pushed up deeper into an order block up here. Retrace, created another discount array, R2F gap kind of style, one of my proprietary PD arrays. And we also created what I call a candle order block after pushing down in 2025. So we're kind of stuck almost in the middle of two PD arrays. So where price was going to go from here, I'm not really sure based on this time frame. I have a little bit more clue on the lower time frame, on the lower monthly time frames where I'm expecting it to go before potentially doing something else. It's where I want to trade to right now. So this is the yearly 6 months, not super interesting. Besides, we're getting a reaction here this year as well. And we're about to open a new candle in July. We're also opening a new 3 month. Okay, so you can see here, we're in this 3-month gap as well. Okay, we came in once, twice, but if we go to like the 4 months, not in the 4 months, but basically maybe 3.5 months, we don't have such time frames, but it's coming to it multiple times and it's still pushing up. You're getting a new 2 month as well. Okay, so the 2 month has an actual gap here, which I see as a target. Hidden order block here. It might be more interesting on the monthly. Okay, no hidden order block on the monthly, but this is a monthly gap and this is also the 2 months. So I'm just going to leave the monthly on there. Right here. Monthly, this is a structural CB, what I call a structural fair value gap. CB as in the bearish kind. So as you can see, we kind of retraced, big drop down, consolidated, turtle soup, took out liquidity, started pushing up, and now we've been pushing up as expected, as I've said in previous analysis. I'm expecting us to go higher. So when I see this many candles, I see consolidation. I'm popping on the fib tool and I'm noting where is equilibrium. So we have not reached equilibrium, aka fair value yet, and we have not reached this gap. So that's what I'm currently anticipating, price to come at least to this gap over here. We are also getting we have a new 2 week that just started, a new 1 week, and of course we're going to have a new 3 week, but we just opened the new 2 week basically. Okay, so I've annotated some weekly gaps, weekly new week opening gaps, and here's a new 2 week, but this one is not yet formed. And on the weekly, so on the weekly, it's not too interesting yet. What's interesting is potentially this BISI over here. This is a candle BISI. PSI on the 1 week. Okay, we may come there And we may come right just to this new week opening gap on the weekly. We have this, we could come as deep as there. I'm currently not taking a re-entry yet. So we have a new 5-day that just opened. Okay. New 2-day. All right. So it looks like we may potentially be coming all the way down here. We have a small 2-day gap in there. So I'm kind of eyeing this new week opening gap right here, and potentially coming as far as here before pushing up. Also to annotate, we do have these highs here. Okay. So we could be waiting for price to come back down here. So we could see euro, pound, all moving higher in the meantime. So let's go again. Let's go to the start of the pound. On the 6 month, where is it? Over here, okay. Just on the 1 week, we hit that already. Okay, so the 6 months, we actually had a gap over here on the 6 month that we've traded into. Okay, but we have not come back to fair value. So I do think we'll be moving lower based on this time frame. We had an inversion gap here that we did use based on a candle basis. And we still could use it. Okay, I see what could happen here. We could close this month and then trade a bit higher, a little bit, before pushing down into here. So if it happened to close like this on the 6 month, something nice might be so to go up and down using the next 6 month candle for that purpose. Okay, it could be quite fast, it could be slow. So let's check the new 3 month coming up next. Okay, we had an order block here, which is quite interesting. You can see we used it, we took out the low. The low of the candle PD arrays are the most highest probability targets you can get. Those are always my first targets on a higher time frame, and then they are more discretionary kind of targets, such as this 3 month high here, coming to the body is 50%. Those type of areas. Okay, so we can get new one month as well. So you could trade up into here, took out sell side, took out these nice targets. If it does come down, it could come down to this, all the way to this gap here, possibly. Okay, we go to the 2 week, just open, 1 week. All right, so 1 week. We closed below the low, but we also have a wickless candle here. Interesting. Quite interesting. Wickless candles, I call them John Wicklesses, because it's just a play on John Wick. And they're very high probability in terms of a drawn price. You could push lower first or consolidate for the next 2 days. We could come up into that area, and which is the 6 month over here, before moving lower. Okay. So that's what I have for euro. As you can see, we came into this weekly gap over here, popped up on the trend line, faked the breakout. That was the capitulation up here, push down, redistribution, and we've been distributing all the way since. And I think we can possibly go lower. Let's see. This order block here looks quite nice for price to come down to the structure. Could come down to the wicks, whatever. Just this whole general area in the 62% retracement level. I think could be interesting. Okay, for the pound was a little bit less interesting in terms of a little bit less clear. We don't have a 6 month gap. We already traded into a 3 month. We did have a 3 month candle order block. We're gonna have a 2 month. The 1 month doesn't look too interesting, but there is an inversion gap That's interesting. And only because euro and dollar index is a bit more interesting, would I try and, target this area here, maybe this hidden order block. What does that look like on the 3 week, the 2 week, the 1 week? Maybe into this area here. That could be quite interesting. Yeah, that's where I would target. So we had this candle order block and we have a candle gap as well, kind of like a euro. Euro did not close below the previous candle, so it could start pushing up. Pound could start pushing up there because it did close. It didn't close below compared to euro, which did close below. Equal body lows, which I find to be something as well, because the bodies are not closing below yet. Okay, and another confluence for thinking, that the pound may be stronger than the euro is the euro GBP pair. Okay. So, how I start my frame my trades is first on a higher time frame, such as this, before this weekly close. So I kind of anticipate, okay, I think price will come here before possibly, it won't break this high before coming to this low. Okay, because we do have a candle will be here. Candle breaker, I would say. So we should trade up and then trade down. Equal lows here. Okay, equal lows, which is liquidity down into this monthly gap over here. Well, if we do have a nice close, that's a nice monthly PD array to trade lower, possibly as low as here. At this point, I think my target would be lower. If we can close below there, I would put on a fib and trade around to the 62% level. Minimum, I think this orange structural BC on the 1 month R2F style. R2F should be capitalized. Okay, that looks like this. And this one here, not the most conventional R2F gap, but since it's long wick, these cross pairs can be pretty ugly. So you just have to be careful with them. 3 month, 2 month. 2 month is respecting this order block here. Okay, as you can see, we traded all the way up and then pushed down. Or we may have came down first, I'm not sure. I think we actually pushed up before coming down because it didn't break this low yet. So we did push all the way up. Now we're coming down, pushed up here, closed down. I see no point in actually pushing up again past this high. It could happen because of these pairs are pretty nasty at times. But we should come back down here. We came all the way to this daily gap here, as you can see. Put it in orange. Big smash down. I caught a nice short all the way to, I closed around here and we had a big retracement, and I'm keen on taking another short as well in order to catch these equal lows here. So because there was nice sell side here, as you can see, that's why we kind of came up and pushed down, took out the sell side. So now we're kind of consolidating, lingering on, and I feel like one more big push is coming. That's going to take us pretty low. It should be pretty violent. Yeah, it should be pretty violent, taking us even lower. Where is this? Where would I go? Yeah, I think this here. Here is nice. The weekly gap also looks, weekly order block also looks nice. Yeah, I would go there. So that's why I feel, if I'm going to short euro or pound, because those are kind of also I see as bearish soon, I would prefer to short the euro because of the weakness on euro GBP that I see on euro GBP. Yeah, so let's have a look at oil. Yeah, it's quite interesting what you're able to see in price, because we had such interesting trendline liquidity up here, and all of a sudden it was the Iran war. And we took that all up in one swoop, and now we're pushing down. Now where's the sell side? Below this low. So that's below 55. So, oil could be coming lower. And if you think that's not possible, oil at one point during COVID went below zero to a negative number, at least on the futures chart. Why? How's that possible? Because they can't turn off the oil rigs. It just costs too much money and it's too difficult to turn them off. So they were still producing oil, but they couldn't ship it because of COVID and countries being closed. So they actually would pay people to just take away the oil for free. Okay, so it's quite interesting. So I do feel we're going to take out the sell side. That's all I have to say for that. I have nothing to say on the lower time frames for this, except maybe we'll come to this gap before pushing down. We'll tap on this trend line to manipulate the retail crowd into going long and then crashing. There might be some Iran news again. You know how it is. It's all just manipulation. Now looking at gold, 2 weeks here. It's a 2-week gap. I do see some interesting points on gold. I think we're going lower. We're not pushing up to new highs yet. We have a 3-week here John Wickless and a 2-week John Wickless. I see price coming down to those areas. At the very least, the 3-week, I believe. It's a nice area. It's a Wickless and a gap and a double bottom in terms of these candles. It just seems very likely. Okay. And lastly, Bitcoin. I also think we're still going lower. 7 month, there's a gap here. If I encompass this entire gap, including this opening gap, I see us coming down to that area. New 6 month, 3 month. It's just respecting the candle PD raise, and 2 month, we're gonna get this whopping candle bearish order block that I believe gonna trade up. It's also an R2F gap. It's also a slingshot setup, which is one of my signature setups as well, because of how high probability it is. Unless it took out something significant, which it didn't. It's very shallow stab on. So I'll show you some sell side liquidity. It should push lower. So we could see Bitcoin coming below 50K, maybe even up to like 40K. Okay. See these equal lows, 1, 2, 3. We pushed up. Also caught a nice short in this move. It did it a couple of times, and now we're just lingering here, and it should continue down, into this gap. It just looks nice. We could trade up first, of course, but at the moment, if you get a 2-week close like this, this is also a candle order block. However, we did take out this low. There could be additional manipulation to come into this actual more structural order block here before, just moving down. Okay, that's completely a possibility. Indices, not too much to say about it. We're at all-time highs. We turn on the 6 month, okay. We've been pushing up. What can I say about it? Push up, push down. It's very nice for respecting these new week opening gaps in terms of inversion. You can see this down close, we trade up, we trade down. That's all you need to do. To catch the trade in here on a lower time frame. Then it becomes easy. If you're trying to catch an inversion gap down here, you see it lingering, it comes down, it's pushing back up, then it's it's a headache. So you can see, look at this wickless candle here. Beep. Now imagine that on maybe a gold, right? So those are a very good magnet on price. And honestly, I don't trade this pair very much. Actually, I don't trade it at all lately. So I'm not too interested. There's a lot of gaps. It's not too interesting for me right now. Nothing, some equal highs and stuff here could start pushing up and then maybe come down. Because this is still relatively equal lows. Came down once. Came down again. We could see a bigger crash happening soon. We moved up a lot, and now we're starting to see some choppiness and a bit of some PD raise and structure. It could come down and swoop all of this very quickly. You can imagine what type of news would have to happen for that to occur. Okay. So yeah, that's all I have. Basically waiting for the dollar to push a bit higher to the monthly gap. Euro and pound lower. Euro should be weaker. Gold should also go lower. Crypto also. So could see more strength in the dollar index. So anything news related that could affect that, such as war. People would go to the US dollar as a risk off asset. So turbulent times, people will be pulling out the stock market and putting cash capital back into like the US dollar, for example. Okay, that's it for now. Till next week or till something interesting happens. Goodbye.